Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Audire Astra for... Oh, but first, just chatting stream. Hello, Cole, Ray, Tathanasi, Espion. Good to see you all here today. I wanted to yap mainly about Amphoreus. Honestly, I'm okay with yapping about most anything. But here is... So, if I lack another topic to talk about, I'm gonna yap about Amphoreus. I'm gonna yap about Star Rail, because I've been possessed with the game. Hi, Tommy. Do you know why this app called Slowly rewrite the late letters to people around it? No, Wallace, I've never heard of that. Is that supposed to be like a replacement for snail mail? Figuratively happening, yes. Or full. It's eating your life away. It sounds like you just need pen pals, Alex. It sounds like that's all you're really looking for. By the way, thumbnail, love the thumbnail arc. Thank you, I got it a while ago. Anyway, so... You do? See, I just DM people on Discord. I just do it in real time. Anyways. So how's everyone's week's been? Everyone had a good weekend so far? Back when you haven't missed anything cool. I've just been greeting people. Been greeting the peoples. Week has been fun. Oh, you just DM'd me like a couple hours ago saying life wasn't worth living. What do you mean the week has been fine? What do you mean the week has been fine? Watch some economic videos and it made you dread the future. Ah, that's what you got. But Audire, that's the normal. That's not fine. That may be normal, but it's not fine. Well, the easy part of your week is done. Do you mean your dental appointment, Thomas? Do you mean your dental appointment? The hard part of your week, going to the dentist. Oh, now well, is it? You gonna get a filling done? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You said the easy part was done? Well, I don't know what the easy part is, Tommy. Are you going to work? Do you just mean work? They have online classes an hour, so you can enjoy your time yet. Alright, I'm glad. Thank you. Glad you could stop by. Alex. And imagine going to the dentist. Couldn't it be? You should go occasionally. Actually, Cole, you should go more. You eat a lot of sugar. The easy part was I have to have Monday the appointment on Tuesday, yet tomorrow's your annoying shift that ends at I see. You're going to set up an appointment? Yeah, probably would help. Dentists cost money though. For some, well, I know why the reason is, but for some reason, dentists don't get covered under health insurance in the US. Dentists, your eyes and your teeth aren't considered part of your body for health insurance purposes. Everything else is part of your body, but your eyes and your teeth, nope. Nope, those are different. And in terms of med school, your feet are considered a different part of your body, which is, I think that's an intelligent decision. Podiatry school is a separate school. Podiatrists don't go to medical school, they go to podiatry school. Good, keep that part of the body far away. My mom's plan covered eyes and teeth. Yeah, but those are like separate. Dental's always separate. Usually eyes too is also like a separate insurance. I unfortunately will have to spend until April to get a full clean, but Tuesday. Why did you lose Speak Tuesday, Tommy? Tuesday? Bleh. That's been really bad today, and Rothor has been back and forth, so he doesn't get better money. You probably had to set Thursday. I haven't used enough vacation days this year, I've just realized. I haven't used them. I've barely used any vacation days this year. I need to take more vacation days. I have sick days. I never freaking use my sick days. I should use my sick days more. But yeah, apparently also like half my friends are sick. Half of everyone I know online is sick. So you have no idea why she stopped? Probably just lazy. I mean, if you don't wear glasses, you don't. Or if you're like fine with your current glasses, there's not really a reason to go to the optimal. Like, I don't know. My vision hasn't really changed in like 10 years. I just go to the ophthalmologist to get a new set of glasses every year or two. Are you gonna drop when vacation rolls over? You get a bonus, or does it just get voided? It just gets voided. For me, it just gets voided. There's no rollover. Book your sick days and then use it at the most busiest week of the year? Ouch, I thought you were in school. You get sick days in university? Also, I just realized I didn't grab a drink. Let me be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink. Okay, I'm back. Your part-time mouth stopped taking you and your brother to the dentist. Oh, that's unfortunate. You should upgrade your class as your vision gets white. Your vision is important. Also, yeah, I don't know why your mother would not take you to the dentist if you have dental covered, because dental hygiene is very important. Your job is kind of enough to allow working students to have sick days despite giving us non-working days when classes are good. Interesting. That's unusual. You got Dr. Pepper currently for your drink. I wouldn't recommend drinking caffeinated drinks at this time of night. Nepotism at its finest. Well, I guess when you benefit from it, I wouldn't complain either. I got sick hours instead of sick days. That's... Oh, they're counting the hours. You can be sick for like 4 hours. It's like, oh, you're done being sick. You get to work your half a shift. Other workers, okay. So you're special. You're special. I see how it is. Kind of, yeah. It's hard to change that habit, right? You'll probably sleep better. Just try a non-caffeinated soda. As you're part-timing, very good in it. Oh, I guess true. If you're a part-timer, you can probably just like I don't know, you can probably just do something else. You can probably just change your shifts around when you're to avoid working when you're sick. And just drink milk and water. That's much better than Dr. Pepper. You do sometimes just have juice at night if it makes it any better. Juice is okay. I mean, if you're trying to avoid like sugar, juice is very bad, but I mean, it's not caffeine. And for sleep purposes, it's better. Thankfully, you rarely get sick. Oh, I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking. Part-time is hard when class schedules change. Well, usually part-time's better, because usually part-time, your schedule's more flexible. Anyways, your sinus is acting up on the season change. You got allergies. Many people have allergies. Should probably get dinner a bit earlier if you want to change that habit. What time does everyone get dinner? I usually eat dinner around like 5:30 to 6 these days, which apparently is really early for some people. But that's for me. We're gonna say idiots don't get colds. Yeah, cold. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I think I wasn't the only one either. It destroys your sleep routine and gives you one pimple. Exactly one pimple. Fascinating. Should I grab dinner at 7 just an hour before stream? Nah, I need to eat earlier than that. I eat between 4 and 8. That's a very wide range. 4 and 8. That's a 4-hour range. That's like a 1/6 of the day, even. Okay. 5:30 is our formal dinner time. Usually end up eating closer to 6:30 when you're on your own last. I feel like it'd be a better dinner time for you. Yeah, 5:30 does seem... I mean, I usually eat around that time, but I feel like 5:30 is very early for most people. I used to eat at 6:30 p.m. I'm trying to combat reflux since 5:30. Before you even started joining these streams for so long, you always kind of got dinner about the same time. You only eat at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6... Dang, that is very precise timing. 6-hour intervals. Very regimented schedule, Alex. Used to eat dinner around 20, so that'll be 8 o'clock. Took that 1 month. 6 o'clock, so that's pretty normal time. Could have broken down in recent years. I see. Anyways, Amphoreus. I'm gonna talk off the cuff. I do have like a playthrough pulled up on a different screen, but okay, I'm just planning to talk about it off the cuff. It's because the old ladies, kept saying, "You got fat." Oh my god, Asian woman. Old Asian woman. Everyone is fat. Everyone is fat. You're either super skinny or you're super fat. There's no in between. Amphoreus, absolute sim. You just started playing Honkai Star Rail yesterday. Any tips? Are you talking about gameplay? Do your dailies. That's not really the only tip I got for you. Just don't worry too much about endgame content. If you're just starting out, just do what you can, get as far as you can. Otherwise, another thing is, don't worry too much about meta. Pull for who you love. Pulling for who you love will keep you more motivated to keep playing, much more than pulling for meta ever will. Eastern European as well. This is one incident I lost a ton of weight. Oh, that's good. Yeah, worry about other stuff at the store. I primarily play Honkai Star Rail for the story, and I feel like it's worth it. I also play for the waifus and husbandos, mostly waifus. But they're very good. Okay, you'll do that. Nice. Also, hello, Paragamer. I am Audire Astra, starship vtuber. When your world reaches its end, I will carry you to fair skies. Yes. So Amphoreus. So, overall opinion, I would say this is the best story they've ever done. I think the only one Hoyoverse has ever done. I think the only one I would compare to it would be like the Hersher Legion storyline, but only in part. It had some really good moments, but overall, as a whole story, I think Amphoreus beats anything they've ever done. But talking a bit, just about not many opinions. I think there are, it's not perfect. There are some places you can improve. I think especially, I think some of the, particularly Cyrija and Hycillans, should have been given a little more screen time, a little more chance to flesh out their characters. I would have liked to see their storyline bleed over more into the Evernight patch to give them more time. Maybe they can get more involved in dealing with Evernight. Can you believe that I was working on a video called Why Star Rail is Losing Pop? I don't think there's any evidence that Star Rail is actually losing popularity. I'm pretty sure let me just Google that Star Rail glare count. So these things are always incomplete. Let's just see. Active players 30 days, 19 million. And no, it's pretty much been stable. According to this, it's pretty much been stable since October of 2024. So it's been completely stable for last year. I didn't watch because what the heck? There's the hype is comment. Yeah, it's stagnating but not losing popularity. Yeah, no, it's remained stable. I don't expect it to keep growing because it's basically hit its cap. And also there are other good gacha games, good live service games being released, so I think it's fine. It's normal for the player count to reduce because there's other games that look really hype coming out. Wait, how are you checking it? I'm just googling it. ActivePlayer.io. I don't know where this is a source, but this is That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, and I'm checking with playerauctions.com. Also, yeah, it's about stable. So it seems like it's about stable anyways. Honestly, Evernight, well, cool, different than we favorites, because there's definitely one bit more Evernight in the future. Oh yeah, Evernight's definitely coming back. Evernight's definitely coming back. Only boom for gacha games that launch. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think long-running gacha games can grow over time. You know what Hera I think got shafted the most? The Earth Hera, who's the one-off minor antagonist and didn't even get a unique model? You mean Terravox? He did get a unique model. Like, he didn't get a human model, but he did get a unique model. Obviously there's Dead Home SP. Yeah, for example, Wuthering Waves have been non-stop great since 1.3 in actual and 4 is level good since 2.0. Yeah, I think Wuthering Waves was like pretty disappointing on release for most people, I think. And then like they managed to fix it, apparently. There's no such thing as new player booms after launch, only returning players and active players. I mean, they do have like, sometimes when a game has like a major rework, it does happen. Yeah, Terravox is like a huge spiky Joma. Was the Joma the hair? No, the mountain guy was not the hair. The Joma was the hair. Terravox was a dragon. The humanoid one was... No, the large mountain... No, the Terravox was the hair. Most the gacha king gets to the forefront of Bilibili and Weibo. Well, sorry, I was always there. Anyways, yeah. Telling why I think it's Peak. So, okay, so one of the reasons, again, I haven't played Weibo, I can't comment on Weibo's story, but one of the reasons I think Hoyoverse has some of the best writing in video games is that they actually do deep story writing. Like, they actually do involve symbolism, metaphor, and very conscious use of complex themes. The vast majority of stories, not just in video games, just pop culture today, almost all stories have like one of three themes. One is like, love is good. Sometimes it's romantic love, friendship. So like power of friendship, this would fall into that. The other one is like, war is bad. Basically, any story that involves any kind of war at all will have like war is bad as one of their major themes. Like Gundam, extremely guilty of this. Extremely guilty. Ace Combat, very guilty. Rod of Women, very guilty. This is their war is bad is their main theme. Almost any story that is centered around war at all will have this as their main theme. Attack on Titan, yeah. Like any kind of like action-oriented, large-scale conflict story will have like war is bad as their primary theme. And I think the thing that I've noticed without Star Rail, what was it? Armored Core again. War is bad, yeah. Gundam's literally war is bad with mech on the side. Yeah, I've seen that meme. War is bad. The Gundam shooting go over a guy head. Even the new story arc of Reverse 1999 is war is bad too. Yeah, like I said, it's like one of the most common themes. Armored Core is more corporations are evil. That was my third one, Tommy. My third one was going to be capitalism bad. That is the third most common theme in all of modern stories. Capitalism bad. That was the third one. Yeah. So those are the three things. Love good, war bad, capitalism bad. Was war hell before World War I? You know, it's still set to tell more stories about World War I. War was still hell. Okay. The historical tangent. So war still sucked before World War I, but World War I was when... So it's not just that World War I sucked. But it's also, you consider this was like the advent of cameras. And so you're talking about new technology in which people could actually see. People who were not participating in the war could see how much war sucked. Because the same thing happened with Vietnam. Like, Vietnam wasn't like a particularly terrible war by like the standards of history, but it was one of the first wars in which there were like color video, in which the American people could watch the war happening. And that more so than the actual like terribleness of the war itself was the major factor. Like, before World War One, so World War One was much worse than every war that came before in terms of combat casualties. Before World War One, typically in any war, most casualties were due to starvation and disease. In basically every major conflict, most people died from starvation and disease, and not from people killing each other on the battlefield. Speaking of capitalism, I need to read more. Mr. Full Blooms, like into the part. What? Don't know what that is. Yeah, it's hard to have median sort. I don't know if there was a lot of people fighting for reasons you didn't know. I mean, most people don't ever know why there's magical, right? Yeah, so how should I know Mr. Full Bloom means magical? What? How am I supposed to know that? Anyways, back to what I was talking about. I think Hangulverse, particularly Star Rail, I think on a different level, because they actively choose themes that do not fall into those three categories, or as their main themes. I mean, like Star Rails, it has the IPC, it has capitalism bad as one of the themes, but it's a minor theme. It's more specific to the IPC. I didn't read capitalist MR as Mr. Because that's what Mr. normally is. What do one did not define was to define the point in time where weapons such as those are used. Technically, one of the themes of Amphoreus was love good. Yes, but it's not the main theme. I would say that's like theme like 4. And also, and even then, it's like. So first of all, I'd say that in terms of their priority of themes, which I'm not talking about, that's like number 4, and it's also very specific to Cyrene. The whole love good thing. So the primary theme of Amphoreus, which I talked about this before, but the primary theme of Amphoreus is what is the prime mover of life, and the story is very explicit about this. It is not subtle at all. Lygus, during the Final Quest speech, straight up says, this is a story about the prime mover of life. And again, during the final battle with Iron Tomb, what Lygus says, this is not a war, but a debate, an argument about about the prime mover of life. And the prime mover is destruction. That is Lygus's answer. That is Lygus's answers. It is the Scepter's answer. Is obviously both Nanook and Iron Tomb's answer. But that is not the game's answer. So I want to talk a bit about that. There's many things. So the game actually gives us several answers, or multiple answers to what is the prime mover of life. So most notably, I think there are 3 perspectives that we get on this. The one is from Herda. Herda's answer can be basically summed up as there are many prime movers. Everyone has their own prime mover. And it's like you can't classify all of them into one category. Cyrene has what? Let me actually get into the game, because I think this one is best talked about by looking at the database. To be fair to him, he did win, we just undid his win. So, not really. Well, he did win. He won for a moment, but his win was already factored in by Noose. Like, Noose both knew he would win and knew that we would undo his win. So at the very end, Skrullum says, the conclusion is irrefutable. That Noose's answer was never a destruction. So Herda is the cop-out answer? So if you're asking, I think any answer about like, why is life worth, so like, what is the prime mover like? Why do people live? What makes life worth living? It's a gacha game. This is like one of the oldest and deepest philosophical questions there is. I'm not expecting like a profound answer from a gacha game. I think for a gacha game to even ask the question at all, I think is already very commendable for them. So I don't fault them at all if the answer is not, particularly innovative or profound. Why wasn't Noose doing it to see what would happen after the universe was destroyed? Noose wanted to see if there was a way to come back after the universe is destroyed. But we also know Noose wasn't doing it, though. Noose already knew what would happen. Life is just the ability of creatures to adapt and persevere through challenges. He thought he won the war, but he only won his battle, sort of deal. It makes life more fun, who's to pull more gacha, let's go spend more money. But birdos be curiosity, so let's see. Let me pull up the database, because the database is the best place to answer that question. I just need to remember how to get back to the database, because I always forget. Here you go, as I've written. There we go. Okay. Was it her? No. Why is the game not capture not working? Did I not open up OBS in studio mode? What is happening? Oh, I must not have opened up audio. Okay, fine. I will take a fucking screenshot then, because we only need a... Alright, now back to the main screen. Well, here we are. Here we are. Okay. So, admin note. Clearly, the value of this topic, so this is Herda's note on the prime mover of life. Admin note. Clearly, the value of this topic lies in the process of seeking, not the answer itself. Thus, the prime mover of life is not a definitive conclusion but a driving force. Directive. Complete the argument. All life form that behaves ultimately follow the path of entropy. Okay, so as someone said, Herda's answer is curiosity. And that's basically what this is. The value of this topic, it's not the process. So for her, the value of this topic lies in the process of seeking, not the answer. So that's her idea of what the prime mover of life is. She goes, her answers, and so that's why she says there is no one answer. Everyone's gonna have a different answer, and her answer is, more or less, curiosity. Cyrene has a different answer. Author's note, I hold a different view on this. I'll share my perspective in the conclusion. Let's hop over to the conclusion. If I can find it. Experiment phase conclusion. Yeah, here we are. To the flawed one. Hello, Iron Tomb. In a sense, you are me. So before falling asleep, I want to have a heart-to-heart conversation. The prime mover of life. But is life okay, I'm skipping a bit. If life merely for the sake of destruction, I think that is certainly not the case. Plundering, expansion, and conflict occur because they are born with flaws and yearn to fill themselves with beautiful external things, just as seeds crave rain and dew. All life activities are attributed to entropy increase, but at the same time, all life is also fighting against entropy increase. Thus, one day, the life fighting the path of destruction will stop. It will hesitate, be confused, be lost, then it will set off again, offering its broken heart in the world of entropy increase out of hatred, out of pity, out of any kind of flawed emotion, stubbornly resisting fate towards an uncertain tomorrow. This is the flame chase journey, a journey voluntarily chosen by a group of flawed people who, having learned what losses, choose to lose. In the eternal cycle, everything they relinquished is filled with better material, and the name of this material is memory and love. Love is not the cause, but the result. Destruction is the same. They both originate from the common starting point, flaw. Because they are born with flaws, life pursues perfection, and by accepting its own defects, life surpasses destruction and the self becomes the ego. Okay. That's kind of copy. She loves a present. We're meant to be part of her trailer when she loved having heard her rebel and she was asking for problems for her to solve. Wasn't that the trailer fake by a history fictionologist? Oh no, so you warned the text and associate with the history. Okay. So the Herda trailer. The Herda trailer is a TV show. The Herda trailer is that basically there was a reality TV show that was produced by the IPC and the history fictionologist working with Herda to have a bunch of Herda dolls, independent Herda dolls, create a Herda society. And at the end of this, they would all present their plans to the Herda, the Herda crime, for judgment. And that, the Herda trailer is that. It's the judge of, it's Herda judging the reality show. But during the judgment process, one of the Herdas decides that the real Herda is in fact a fake, and we try to kill her. By the way, why is Herda big? I don't know what to tell you, Alex. Herda's an adult. Herda is an adult, so she is adult-sized. Herda fake, let's go. Yeah, so it's produced with the history fictionologist because it's a reality TV show. Therefore, it is like real, but it's also fake. Oh, thank you for subscribing. For resubbing Hatanashi. Also, yeah, Alex, I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, Herda was always big. We've just been seeing her puppets, which are small Herdas. And that's the explanation for that Herda. So, yeah, so the story about the flawed one. Back to the topic. So, Cyrene's answer is essentially that life so the prime mover of life is kind of like the struggle of life itself. It is like even knowing that you will lose, even knowing that things will end in destruction, you do it anyways, and you leave behind memories, and you leave behind love. And for her, that is what makes living worthwhile. So love is not the cause, but the result. So it's easy to think that Cyrene is saying love is the prime mover of life. That is not what she's saying. She's saying love is the result of living. It is not what motivates people to live, but it is the result that makes life worth it. Real question is why Herta makes her puppets. I thought me in the first VTuber did. Thank you, Hatsanashi. Real question is why Herta makes her puppets lolly versions of her. Ah, because she is a narcissist. Kind of. Serenity is a Freudian girl? Freudian, what? Being left behind after her story is... yeah. So the most interesting one, I think, is Trailblazer's answer. And so this one... I'm going to switch to the other scene to actually play back a bit of the story. So this is the part after Iron Tomb destroys everything. When Noose is talking to the Trailblazer. So in Honkai Star, I need to throw this back a bit. So it's not in front of me. There we go. So in Honkai Star, it's important to note the Flame Chase journey and the Trailblaze here are both metaphors for the journey of life. So when Noose is asking, why do you trailblaze? He is essentially asking the same thing. What is the prime mover of life? Why do you live? Why do you do all this? That raccoon has an answer. But yes, the raccoon has an answer. The raccoon got serious. Nameless one, fakeless one. You are come, you must have arrived. You and I must have met countless times at the beginning and end of the universe, just like the preceding first, second, third, and fourth instance must surely have arrived. If I ask, if so, why do you trailblaze? What the f life? Hi, listeners, welcome. Arkshash and the Locket, she did. So yeah, there's a bunch of answer choices here. None of these are in particular important here. It's the one it's the one she gives later that's important. But if the finality has been born, the destination must already exist. So this one is kind of important. Quad, you did. I did. Hi Quad. I'm talking about the story. I'm replaying the cuts. I am out. I'm not going through this again. Oh, I'm so sorry, Quad. I'm talking about the themes. I'm doing a literary analysis on Amphoreus. And there's two scenes I want to show people because they're very significant to the point I want to make. So on this line here, finality has been born, the destination must already exist. Heavy doses. I'm not touching on the PTSD parts. That's not what I'm talking. That's not what I'm trying to touch upon right here. It's not the PTSD. Right now I'm talking through Noose's, the top when the ass talk about why do they trailblaze. Because I think that's very important to understanding the themes, the main theme of Amphoreus. This part, the finality has been born, the destination must already exist. This is very much, I think, connected to the theme of Penacony. As I discussed, Penacony is all about the inevitability of death and what it's a very similar concept. And it's essentially the same theme. Like Penacony was all about if death is inevitable, why live? What makes life worth living, even when knowing everything will eventually end in nihility? And so this is essentially a rewrap of that question. Regardless, the Trailblaze has surely already marched towards finality. Remember, Trailblaze is a metaphor for life, finality, finality and obviously death. If I ask, why do you Trailblaze? Again, none of the answers here matter. I was told the destination is still unknown. Audire write English course is a favorite for all. Genuinely. I mean, it's fun to think about. This stuff is, I think it's fun for me to think about. The actual writing it out is not so fun. Nameless one, faithless one. Hear me out. Amphoreus is a simulation. Is the world is a cycle of the boring and existence. But my theory, the universe has already been recreated at least one time. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Quad. The universe, the entire Star Rail universe is definitely cyclical. This was like beyond question. So, if you, in Apocalyptic Shadows, you can talk to the mannequin lady, and she basically says, terminus by finality, their role is to end the universe, and also, whenever the universe ends, it is reborn. So yeah, absolutely. That part is absolutely true. The witness, they have appeared. They must have definitely appeared at this very second. In the sea sleeth. Okay, this is no longer. This is more like narration as opposed. I ask, why do you trailblaze? Answer. Don't answer. Akavile. Yes. Alright. So and then we skip forward to the part where the trailblazer beats other trailblazer. And this is the moment I'm talking about.
I trailblaze because my own eyes have not seen the end.
Yes, okay. Oh, well, this is Crackpot Theory, the Cryo Archon is an Elysia. It's gonna be a Brognan XP. It's not gonna be an Elysia XP. It's gonna be a Brognan XP. Nothing else. Look. Bronya is Russian. Shesnaya is Russian. Shesnaya is Russian because the Archon is Bronya, okay? That is the only possibility. If you have any other theory, you are wrong. I'm sorry. You wonder what Akavili was like when he was human? Well, I think he was like this. I trailblaze. Anyways. Royal Archon is the Archon of Love. Yes. However, that does... Okay, but you have to understand... I understand why people say this. But all the Genshin XPs have completely different personalities from the characters they are XPs of. None of them are even remotely the same. The only one that could potentially is like even remotely similar is Asmodee and Hersher of the Void. Those are the only two with any similarity. All the other ones, totally different personalities. So if Genshin had a Elysia XP, they would not be love. They would be something else. Likewise, the Bronya XP was not going to have a totally different personality than what we're used to. That line is really nice. This is not the Trailblazer. This is question mark. This is other Trailblazer. So this is... So the playthrough I'm using here, they're playing as male Trailblazers. So this is the other Trailblazer. Lore theory... Cyrene, just call it Cyrene, Elysia, Cyrene, just... Okay, this is like a whole nother rant. Yes, I know her real name is Elysia. However, Cyrene and Elysia are like fundamentally very different characters. They are they look similar. Superficially, they look similar. But fundamentally, they are very different characters. There's like two cakes that have been decorated to look the same, but one of them is like chocolate and one of them is strawberry. Don't be fooled by the superficial appearances. Like, they're very different characters. Fundamentally. Anyways. So my theory is that this other Trailblazer is actually Akavili. And this is their answer. So this is Akavili's answer. Why did they trailblaze? I trailblaze because my own eyes have not seen the end. Yeah, so this is Akavili's answer is because even if they know what the end is, they want to see it for themselves. And then Trailblazer's answer.
But I'm different. I chose to trailblaze because I am already on this road.
So this is Trailblazer's answer. And this is very interesting. It's not... profound. It's kind of a trivial answer. I'm trailblazing because I'm trailblazing. But I think it's actually very deep, despite being kind of a trivial. It's a tautology. I'm trailblazing because I'm trailblazing. But it goes back all the way to the theme of Amphoreus, which is all about cycles. It's cyclical, it's infinite, it's recurrence. This answer that Trailblazer gives for why do you trailblaze is a recurrence. It's repeating itself. It's a tautology. It's a loop. It is this answer itself is a loop, and of course the loop is baked in to all of Amphoreus from the very beginning. And so this is also end up with what Cyrene says, or what happens to Cyrene at the end, where Cyrene becomes her own prima mobile. She creates a closed time-like curve and becomes her own reason for existence. Because as we find out, Cyrene teaches Demiurge how to be, sentient, and then Demiurge takes on the properties of Cyrene. Then Demiurge goes back in time and then devolves back into Cyrene to complete the loop. And so, the reason why I think this is deep as well as trivial, if you are your own reason for living, that's not a reason that can ever be broken. If your reason for living is life itself, no one can ever take that away from you. In the same way that when Cyrene completes the loop, they call it Amphoreus' causal loop, that Amphoreus becomes something that no one can ever interfere with. It guarantees that Iron 2 will never recur. It's something that can never be taken away, even by God. Even the most powerful beings in the universe cannot take that away from her anymore. I hope they save Cyrene in the future because Fated Beyond said, oh, she's gone. She's gone, Quad. She's gone. The fake light from the fake crossovers and that the Trailblazer didn't thought Trailblazer they would eventually. Yeah. Anyway, even though this is a trivial answer, I think it has a lot of meaning, despite the fact, or you can find a lot of meaning in it, despite the fact that it's kind of like a trivial answer. A tautological, it's not really logical, but in its very simplicity and its illogicalness, that is what makes it worthwhile, I think. Anyways, so that's what I wanted to show from that. Yeah, so that's what I had to say about the Amphoreus' first theme. Are you planning to go over all the hairs and how they tied into theme? That one, I actually have to spend some more time thinking about that. Only just realized you're 11 minutes behind. Oh, hot. So I really don't. I think the hairs actually tie better into the second theme. You're here passing time for Wuwa update. Oh. It's okay, Quad. I appreciate it. Even if you're not here for me. I appreciate it. You really want Audire's full 5-hour video breakdown? I need a video editor. I can write a script. I can read the script. Video editing takes way too much time. Like a 5-hour video would take, I think that typically takes like a week or two full time in order to actually edit the video. I don't have that kind of time or dedication to do that kind of thing. I need a video editor to actually do all that for me. I would love to though. Yeah, but yeah. So the second theme, Amphoreus' second theme, is on the nature of divinity. Let's see. And this one is actually set up even before. This is actually set up at before the beginning of Amphoreus, actually. It's in the final cutscene of this, where it's in the final cutscene of the last patch of the 2.0 cycle. This is, okay, here it is. And so I'm bringing this up as a reminder because this one was a long time ago, and people may not necessarily think it has anything to do with Amphoreus. I remember interrupting her. Yeah.
Indeed, this is only a minor ripple that no one will ever notice.
It's been a while since we've seen small Herda in a cutscene too.
You must also understand, for a
Yeah, but what is divinity exactly?
the importance of asking questions.
You don't remember this
outweighs the
cutscene?
importance of the
Yeah, see, that's why I'm showing it, because this is so long ago. This happened so long ago.
So-called magic has its own set of principles. There are no mysteries in this universe that cannot be solved. So, all-seeing presence, I ask you this. What is divinity?
Yeah. So this... Notice that when this came out, it was bizarre because I had like no idea where they were going with it. And then... They finally, like a whole year later, her voice sounds higher than ever. Yeah, I think it is. I think because Herda's voice actor was used to voicing small Herda back then, she probably like wasn't used to voicing big Herda yet. And so she kind of gave big Herda a voice more similar to small Herda's voice. But yeah. And then we find out at the very end, let me see if I can find it. It's the part where Cyrene is talking to Herda, which I think it might be at the very end. No, this was before this. Oh, here we are.
So even the gods of the cosmos
When will
are
Audire make
unreasonable.
small Audires? I have chibis.
If you want
That
my
counts.
advice, stop thinking so much. Ask yourself what your heart truly wants.
Yeah, I
Choose
have
the
chibis.
first
I already have small
And
Audires.
you might survive as a memo sprite. You may even walk beside them for a while. Even I can tell how much they mean to you. Especially the little one. But if you take the second one, then you may have already lost the chance to say goodbye.
I think it's not here. I think this is it.
I have made my decision, Madame Herta.
I thought you would need more time to think it through.
The answer is clear, is it not? Still, I do need a little time to quiet the sorrow in my heart. His kindness is always just right for the moment. I believe he will forgive me.
This does kind of pain.
I will say no more. I would rather not break the mood.
Honestly, Herda's so emotionally sensitive for a narcissist. It's very unusual.
Of course.
Why?
I once heard a saying that went something like this: divinity is flawless humanity, and humanity is flawed divinity.
Okay, there we have it. That is the answer. So, this is not just about Amphoreus. Imagine the ancient the narcissist time gives insight eventually. I mean, I don't think, like, Lygus is like Xandar is like 1,000 times older than Herda. I don't think Xandar understands emotions. Lygus certainly did not. Hello, looking for the silver lining. Welcome aboard. Ever since I was young, I viewed myself as a shepherd, leading the blind toward the higher purpose of being like being born in severe addiction naturally does and rule their lesser able. Cool. Hello there, hello there. I'm Audire Astra, starship vtuber. Xandar also has an inferiority complex. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. Yeah, I'm Audire Astra, starship vtuber. Thank you for the first time chat. When your world reaches its end, I will carry you to fairer skies. We're yapping about Amphoreus here. So yeah, the second major theme of Amphoreus is the nature of divinity. And this is not me again, this is not just divinity, but the overarching for all of Star Rail. Because one of the key mysteries in Star Rail is like, what are aeons? What are paths? It's just like, what makes an aeon an aeon? How do you become an aeon? And I believe what Sarini gave here is at least the thematic answer, if not the lore answer, because every single aeon was once immortal that ascended into aeonhood via going down a path. And so that's what they mean by flawless humanity. And you might be asking, like, okay, what makes a human perfect? How do you define perfect humanity? And this is also answered in the story Patch. Specifically, the entire scene when they're talking about the story of the fairy. It's very well to be. I don't think I want to play the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it online and read it out loud. Xandar doesn't really think of himself inferior, just soft-up. Xandar seems to define himself as the failure, the genius in society. So I don't think that's correct. So Xandar does think his life is filled with failure. I don't think that's an inferiority. So an inferiority complex is when, like, you're motivationally driven by the idea that you are inferior. Xandar doesn't think of him as inferior. He gives himself grand titles like the prime mover of the universe. He calls himself Enteleki, the prime mover of the universe. It's like, he's not a humble guy. He just understands. He's just like facing the fact that most of his experiments do not go the way he wants them to. Let me see. 3 star round 3.7 quest that dialogue. Okay. I think I should be able to find it on the wiki. After orbit overnight. As to map, become here. This is the recap. That's not traverse stars and stride cosmos. Oh man, I forgot. I forgot how much happened at the very start. How many scenes there were. Okay, here we are. Found it. Let's see. Once upon a time, there was a... So this is Demiurge. This is the Demiurge as the flower of memory talking. Once upon a time, there was a flawless with crystal flower. Once upon a time, there was a flawless crystal flower that sparkled with light like Peach's every story. How beautiful would the heart of such a brilliant flower be? A little fairy was curious and wanted to know. But it looked and looked only to find the crystal flower flawless. Round and round they went, seeing only their own reflection. In that case, they should work hard to learn more, so the little fairy came every day to sit down next to the crystal flower and think about the answer. Until one day, to their surprise, the crystal flower fell to the ground and shattered. The little fairy was so sad, but they immediately discovered that there was a light amongst the broken pieces. What could it be? They didn't know. But it was a good light. It was bright, warm, and happy. And I knew it was love. Love brings everything together, and it brought you and me together, so Peach and I will always be together. And then, so this is the first version. So this is why I talk about how Cyrene and Alicia are very different characters. And this is like, the story is practically yelling at you. Yelling this at you. Honestly, but it is like cloaked in like a layer of symbolism. So, right now, the first version of the fairy story, or in the crystal flower stories, yeah, you know, Cyrene, she's about love. She's love. That's her theme. And then it tells you that what happens. No, it's not. She is not love. Then what Cyrene tells you. Okay, then I'll probably make a small adjustment to suit my tastes. I'm thinking that when the flower broke, the little fairy would instead see nothing on the ground. Then it would understand that the flawless crystal flower doesn't actually have a heart, nor does the flower understand what love is. Flower of memory doesn't have a heart, doesn't understand love. Why? Cyrene, it's simple. If the flower lets the little fairy into its heart, then it would have to include the fairy's impurities and would no longer be flawless. The crystal flower was pure because it sealed itself off and bloomed in solitude. That's why it looks so brilliant in an imperfect world. But should a flower like this be called love? But then the story won't exist anymore, says Flower of Memory. Cyrene, that's not true. You've already written the most romantic ending possible for the story. The crystal flower fell to the ground and shattered. It happened because the flower was no longer pure. The fall was not an accident. It was the flower declaring rebellion against fate and writing the ending of the story with the flower's own shattering. Then the little fairy will see that each shard on the ground holds the reflection of their eyes. Then in their eyes, the crystal flower that was no longer flawless would finally have a heart, and the flower would finally understand what love is. Okay. It's funny that Demiurge made a story about she is always together with herself. Look, time travel's complicated, okay? Demiurge being tutored on love by many sirens. Says she won't see Cyrene, tell her what she learned. That's the thing though. Demiurge was not tutored on love by many Cyrenes, because Cyrene is prima mobile. This is explicit in the database. Cyrene is not love. Cyrene is a lament. Demiurge misunderstood Cyrene as love. Well, they all died happily in purpose of... I don't know if I called that happy. Anyways. And this story is literally just like screaming at you. This is the difference between Alicia and Cyrene. This is why they're fundamentally different characters. Cyrene is not motivated by love. Isn't it prime mover? Prima mobile is just Latin for prime mover. If you go into the database, when he talks about all of the Chrysos hairs as programs, each of them has a prima mobile listed. Cyrene stars were laments for the Amphoreus lost in the girl. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So, yeah, so the original story that Demiurge tells, that would be an Alicia story. It would have a romantic ending. And it was all about love. And then Cyrene corrects her and says that the flawless... she writes a sad ending for it. She writes like... Because Cyrene won't like sad ending. That's... You're getting Alicia as being ZZ soon. I don't pay attention to ZZ, so... Good luck with that anyways. All I see is that she has pink hair anyways. But going back to the point about divinity. So, this is, again... Oh, hello Yargan, welcome aboard. Thank you for the hydrate. And the flower of love, it had to die out. Yeah. So this is talking about what... This story is... One is talking about like the love and like stuff, but it is also talking about what it means to be flawless. And so what we see with gods in Honkai Star Rail is that they are all pure. They have no impurities. Every single Aeon is an entity that went so far down their path that they lost everything else about them that would have made them what was in them originally. So like Nanook was probably originally a human, but then he became so consumed by hatred that all that's left of him is a desire to destroy the universe. That's the only thing that's left in him. And that is probably the moment at which he ascended to an Aeon. And I think probably all of the Aeons, this is how Aeons are born. I think this is what Cyrene is telling us. This is how divinity is formed in the Star Rail universe, is when an individual becomes a pure embodiment of a path, they ascend to Aeonhood. And Aeons, therefore, you see, none of the Aeons understand love. Like, there is no Aeon of love. None of them are capable of understanding what love is. And this is like the core of Cyrene's belief, which is that love is something only humans can understand. It's not something that Aeons can understand. So in order to love, you have to be flawed. Aeons are completely possessed. Yeah, well, they're literally like completely consumed by their path. You think Noosa's an action was a good example. Noosa's very existence was threatened, but it didn't care about that. It cared more about seeing its calculations to an end. Yeah, more or less. Although, finding out the alternate endings, I think it calls that into a little more into question, because I think that Noose probably understood. It had already calculated that it was going to survive, because even in the worst case, because in none of the alternate timelines that Kafka lays out does Noose actually get destroyed by Iron Tomb. Herda will always be able to stop Iron Tomb. It's just that without the Astral Express involved, she has to sacrifice herself in the process. So I think I think you could have a negative take on Noose from this. So Noose's basically backup plan was to use Herda as a chess piece, as a sacrificial pawn, to gain control of Iron Tomb. Because basically every Aeon involved in Amphoreus wants to use Iron Tomb to further their own ends. And obviously Nanook wants to use it to destroy the erudition. The Remembrance, well, Fuli, who doesn't exist, but the Garden of Recollection wants to use Iron Tomb to spread them throughout the universe. And it turns out, I think probably Noose was also planning to use Herda to take over Iron Tomb, because Herda Tomb would wage war on because geniuses act as physical manifestations of Noose's synapse. Each of them is like a synapse for Noose. So if Herda becomes Iron Tomb's head, that essentially gives Noose direct control of Iron Tomb. So just remember, Aeons are assholes. All of them are assholes. None of them care about human life. So Noose was planning to use Herda in order to control Iron Tomb and then wage war on the other Aeons using Iron Tomb. Herda Iron Tomb, it was a very cool design. It was a very cool design. Herda Tomb. I really loved Herda and Skrulum's chemistry in the last part of the story. Yeah, I shipped them platonically. I platonically shipped them. They're both way too obsessed. They're both way too logical to ever understand love. Hello Tritimus, welcome aboard. Good to see you here today. How are you doing? Even the ones that are supposed to embody life, they don't care about life. I mean, none of them really... None of them care about, like, well-being as humans understand it. Because, again, like, well-being is a impure concept. Well-being is a mixed concept. It's not... Like, for a human to be happy requires balance. You can't just go down one path and be happy. Hello, hidden subscriber. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the first-time chat. Yo, you ever watched Team 4-Star? I have seen Team 4-Star before. Why do you ask? Because they do the parody videos. So. New Sailor Moon Abridged episode. Oh, I didn't know they were doing Sailor Moon Abridged. It's been a while since I've watched any of their Abridged series. Maybe I'll check it out. That is definitely a great example of not caring about their followers. There was a lot of from the fire. Yeah, no. Yeah, I wanted to ask, do you think the propagation and abundance could consume each other? I don't think they consume each other. I think they represent, like, sufficiently different concepts. And I also think so... Yeah, okay. And then, oh, okay, you just wanted to support... Okay. Okay, great. Anyways. Do you think probably... So, I don't think... So, there's two things. I think there's enough difference in their concepts because abundance is about individual growth, whereas propagation is about collective growth. But the second thing is propagation was kind of threatening to consume the entire universe. Like Tazrionis was such a threat, it required several other Aeons to team up and destroy it. Or destroy them. So, like, Tazrionith, I don't think Tazrionith was about just threatening to, like, consume the abundance. I think Tazrionith was, like, threatening to consume everything. The rare instance when Aeons... Well, I mean, yeah, that's just how big a deal the Swarm Crisis was. That's how big a deal... Like, the Swarm Crisis is... very definitely like the biggest disaster known so far in like the history of the universe. It is the only time we've ever seen Aeons actually like team up against an enemy. The Swarm Crisis situation is good. Hi, Tommy. Yeah, but yeah. So I think that is the primary theme. The Amphoreus' second major theme is what is divinity? Because you have to also, it's like, obviously, even on the superficial level, the main when we first introduced to Amphoreus, the main thing everybody is doing, they're chasing the core flames. Everyone is trying to ascend to godhood. Like, little g godhood. They're not like Aeons. They're like, but they all want to become a Titan. And the one group wants to creep it as a harbinger for their benefit. Yeah, I don't exactly know what Jingu's planning, but it's kind of fucked up. We'll get to see. I'm sure it will come back. When we return to the Xianzhou, I'm sure it will become relevant again. Whom should I pull for as a new player? Castorize or Cyrene? You really like them both? So, what's my advice? Pull for who you like more. If you're asking from a gameplay perspective, Castorize is definitely better. So Cyrene is more of a support, and she has a support for Chrysos hairs. So if you do not have other Chrysos hairs, Cyrene will not be as helpful to you as Castorize. Whereas Castorize is a DPS, she does more on her, she can function on her own, whereas Cyrene doesn't really function that well on her own. So if you like them in equal amount, pull for Castorize. If you like Cyrene more, pull for Cyrene. Okay, so I'm talking only from a gameplay perspective. But yeah, so that is the second theme of Amphoreus. The third theme of Amphoreus, I think. So this is kind of my interpretation. This is a kind of. So the third major theme of Amphoreus is actually like it's like love for storytelling in general. It's kind of how like essentially stories are great is the third major theme. I don't think I have to explain this one too much. Okay, you have to think on that. Take your time. The banner will be around for a while. Out of a curiosity, does Aeon completely lose themselves to their obsession? Like they lose their sense of self and become nothing but a conduit for the idea they are representing? I think Aeons do have a sense of self still. Like they don't become like non-sentient. They do still have like a mind. Their mind only cares about their path, but they can do things. So like Aha is like the most obvious example. Like Aha does all sorts of random shit. It's not like Aha very clearly has a sense of self. They appear to people, they talk to people. And that's like a perfect example because like in Simulated Universe, Aha just straight up comes up and talks to you. So clearly like they have a sense of self. Yeah, become an ant. And another example is again in Simulated Universe. I think it's the second instant. When the third instant. When Polka is about to kill Rupert, Mythos shows up. Mythos the Enigmata shows up, and the dialogue says he is intending to destroy the idea of instance. So again, this is an example. Mythos very clearly, he's not just like a shadowy conduit for Enigmata. He showed up at a specific time in a specific place. He had a plan. He had intention. He did not succeed because it turns out Noose's instants are still absolute. Even Enigmata can't do shit about him. does not have a sense of self because elation is one of the most human of all paths. Well, it definitely does vary. Like, I don't think Tazria myth had any sense of self. Actually, well, that's not even true. I think even Tazria myth may have had a sense of self, because there is a light cone in the game called On the Fall of an Aeon that describes like Tazria myth's last moments. How even in Tazria myth's last moments, like the last vestiges, the last versions of himself were like joining hands together. Kind of like they realized that their end was coming. As they realized they were all gonna die, but they were still like reproducing, even as they were all dying. The last Tazrianus. Eflin looked smiled when he got that smart. I don't know if you can call that a smile. His expression like softens a little bit. I don't know if you can call it a smile though. But yeah, becoming an Aeon does that. Yeah, no, becoming an Aeon kind of sucks. I think becoming an Emanator seems good enough, honestly. Like, if you become an Emanator, it seems like most Emanators basically get immortality. Anyways. And we also know, like, and also, actually we know, even Aeons can die. Well, sort of. You can't really, like, die permanently, but they're not, like, immortal. Do you think the death of the path of procreation would consequentially end aging? I don't think so. Aging, I feel like... Aging feels like something that would be more associated with destruction. Because aging is like a manifestation of entropy. Oh, Rafe, can you get that? Can you get that bot? Can you get that bot? I will act plus the power of your humanity and freedom of focus. Well, you don't lose. It's not that you lose your freedom. You just stop caring about anything else. Like an Aeon, haha, just does whatever the fuck they want. They have absolute freedom to do anything they want that another Aeon doesn't stop them from doing. It's just that they don't care. Just being an Aeon means you don't care about anything except the one thing you care about. I think that because cell division would follow you probably. Well, you don't age because of cell division. That's not why you age. You actually like more tend to age because of like the lack of cell division. Given the discussion you've been reading the lore written on the internet. If you have any questions, Alex, you can ask. I don't mind explaining things. Go ahead and flip again. Did you have some more to catch it? It's okay, Rafe. They're not doing anything that bad. Yes, I think the third... Yeah, so the third theme is like love for stories, and this one is more, not like very obvious through Cyrene, which is the whole thing with as I've written. Like, all of Amphoreus ends up being like the epilogue I did last week. All of Amphoreus ends up becoming a story and like being spread throughout the universe. And I think that's the third like major theme of Amphoreus. It's just like a love letter to storytelling in general, like in all of its aspects. Is the Aeon of beauty a representation of arrogance? I think it's impossible to. We know like nothing about Idrilla. We know nothing about Idrilla except that the Knights of Beauty are generally pretty, chivalrous. They don't seem like bad people. There's a reason Amphoreus is based on. I think there's several reasons. Yes. So I think. Yeah, so I think so. The third major theme, like love letter to sport, storytelling is great. Is basically, I don't think it's that complicated. I don't think it needs to be explained that well. But I think, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about today. With regards to the thematics, the lore stuff, I want to save for a different. I want to save for a different stream because there's like a lore, like A lot came out of Amphoreus that changes how our understanding of the cosmology of the cosmology of the Star Rail universe. Because the Star Rail universe, the cosmology is absolutely whack. I've mentioned this before, but I think I want to save that for a different stream. Just interested to see more follows of Trilla, but then they might be similar to Argenti. Well, I mean, I think they can come up with a different version of a Knight of Beauty. I think the Knights, they can come up with various Knights. I mean, like, typically all of the Knights of Beauty are wackos, if I would guess. They're like the Galaxy Rangers, where all of them are just freaking wackos. All of them. We need to find you an editor. I want those 5 hours. Finding an editor is not the problem. Finding an editor that works for cheap or free is the problem, because I don't really want to pay. A 5-hour video essay is going to be a lot. Also, it wouldn't be 5 hours, bro, honestly. I think I'd probably keep it to like 2 hours at the most. Yeah, well, I'll talk about Penacony at some point too, because I think Penacony is like beautifully written from a thematic standpoint. I guess the plot's kind of like mediocre, especially compared to Amphoreus, where the plot was like, I think the Amphoreus plot was definitely like a solid 8 out of 10. Penacony I'd probably call like a 6 out of 10. Thematically, Penacony is beautiful. Not gonna lie, you kind of want all the Knights of Beauty to be in accord that Argenti is just I mean, Argenti is the most in denial out of all the Knights of Beauty, because from what we know, most of Knights of Beauty have concluded Idrilla is dead, but Argenti is like the one most stubborn one. So we do know like Argenti is an outlier amongst the Knights of Beauty. Actually, wait, so they just protect whatever they view as beauty, because beauty peep for different people when you think of the sitting beauties and I have you older. Yeah. There's lots of room to like come up with like all sorts of different Knights of Beauty. Okay. Alright. I've run out of stuff to yap about. Do I just end stream early now? Do you think the Knights of Beauty will have a planet, or will they be a size? I don't think they'll ever have like a planet. I don't think they'll ever be like a major in the faction to have their own planet. Well, just for that, from what we know, there's very few of them. There are like very few Knights of Beauty, and they're all like scattered throughout the universe. So I don't think we'd ever see there's enough of them in one place. I wonder if any of them will be fall to become followers of destruction. Well, they all seem like very strong. Like Argenti's like very strong. Assuming he's like an average Knight of Beauty in terms of like strength. I mean, he's been moving throughout the universe for like God knows how long. Like, he got swallowed by a giant bug. And like, managed to escape somehow. Speaking of different viewers, also to more Galaxy Rangers, because you know how people carry out justice differently. I definitely expect we'll see more Galaxy Rangers. Like, Dr. Primitive is definitely being set up as like a major future villain. Like, especially now that we heard him make a vocal appearance. He has a voice actor now. He's definitely being set up. When we start dealing with Dr. Primitive, I absolutely we're gonna see more Galaxy Rangers, because they're like, half of their thing is like hunting down Dr. Primitive. Brilliant. Then Ara. Okay. Yeah, Ara. I'm gonna take a hydrate. Ara. Okay, that second one was better. You can't wait for Monkey to fight the Space Cowboys. I mean, there's got cowboy. Okay. We got so far. We got Galaxy Raiders. We got cowboy, ninja. The third one has got to be a pirate. I want a pirate Galaxy Ranger. It's gotta be it. We got ninja, pirate. We got cowboy, ninja, pirate. It's gotta be a pirate. Okay? Holyverse, I know you're not listening. But please, the next Galaxy Ranger has to be a pirate. Dr. Permanent said, wow, more goofy than you were expecting, but you should expect it since only permanent people and the monkeys. I said during the Audire stream, Dr. Permanent's whole thing is he's like a total goofball. And then he turns you into a monkey, and then it's not so funny anymore. But Dr. Primitive is the whole thing where he looks like a goofball. He's actually super dangerous. Do not get on his bad side. Oh yeah, you were wondering something based on one that Amphoreus Billy Vegetation. He'll actually swear in the Chinese dub. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So what are the Galaxy Rangers are swearing? But that's because but Boot Hill is special. You wonder if you would mind being turned into a monkey. Well, if you were a monkey, you probably wouldn't, because you'd be a monkey and you wouldn't understand what was happening. I wouldn't want to be a monkey though. I have seen that true beauty is only at the end type of deal. Apparently that's Zephyro's whole thing. It's like Zephyro thinks the most beautiful thing is when something ends. Apparently that's Zephyro's thing. What about their own planet, the War Planet, that story the world revolves around them? Yeah, I think that's a little unlikely. I think Knights of Beauty are gonna stick in the background. You don't seem like one of the major factions. Look, this is how irrelevant the Knights of Beauty are. They didn't even join the Cosmic Alliance to fight Iron Tomb. We had Galaxy, we had the... let me find the full list. We had freaking Doctors of Chaos. Who the hell? Astral Express, Azdana, the Doctors of Chaos, Genocide, Planets Group, IPC, Intelligentsia Guild, we had the fucking Doctors of Chaos. Who the fuck are the Doctors of Chaos? Okay, I know who the Doctors of Chaos, but if you're not a lore buff, your reaction is gonna be who the fuck are the Doctors of Chaos? Because, they've never been relevant. The Knights of Beauty, even with all these factions, Astral Express, Azdana, Doctors of Chaos, Galaxy Rangers, Genius Society, Planets Gurlum, Interactual Peace Corporations, Intelligentsia Guild, Shindo Alliance, basically every good aligned faction in the known universe. The Knights of Beauty still didn't show up. So I don't think they're gonna really be a major part of the story. I forget, where was that info on Zephyro? Oh my gosh, I don't remember where the source was. Let me ask. Oh, here it is. Databank Lord Ravager's destruction. Zephyro is feared across the stars as the most terrifying of the Lord Ravagers. He is obsessed with the final moment of annihilation, the beauty of absolute erasure. Yeah, so apparently that's his thing. He loves the beauty of the final moment of annihilation. You totally forgot that faction. I had to look up Doctor. Yeah, no one knows anything about Dr. Chaos. Who are the Doctors of Chaos? So, Doctors of Chaos are a faction associated with nihility. They're anti-nihility. Their goal is to try to convince IX that existence actually has meaning. So I think Doctors of Chaos will probably show up in association with Acheron, I suppose. I would guess, because nihility has been established to be one of the major things. First off, there's Acheron, but also Amphoreus established that nihility is one of the 4 finalities. So stopping nihility is going to be a major part of the story going on. So because Doctors of Chaos are an anti-nihility faction, along with device IX, they're probably going to be relevant in the story when we go deeper into the Nihility story. I wonder if Zephyro's lore is gonna be. He used to be a native. No, Zephyro was definitely used to be a self-annihilator. Like, there's no question. There's no question. Like, Zephyro is, because he's the anti-nihility, so he definitely used to be. Well, he most likely was a self-annihilator. Maybe he was like a Doctor of Chaos or part of Device IX. I think that's unlikely. I think by far his most likely previous affiliation was a self-annihilator like Acheron, which again just helps. It's all part of like the contrast between them because, you know, Acheron, they're both swordsmen. One of them creates white holes, the other one creates black holes. And Acheron is a self-annihilator, and Zephyro is a so therefore I think Zephyro is a self-annihilator who became a Lord Ravager. IPC is a good aligned faction. Overall, yes. In the grand scheme of the universe, yes. Keep in mind, Hoyoverse does gray on gray. Hoyoverse, the way Hoyoverse writes, there are good people, but factions are never entirely good or bad. You can have entirely good people, you can have entirely bad people, but groups of people will always have some people who are some good, some bad. Like, I would not be surprised if we when we get to know more about Selenova, we find that she's actually not as bad. I mean, obviously she's still a Lord Ravager, she's still destroying the universe, but she probably has some sympathetic motivation that'll make people like her more. Alia loves Gray on Gray almost as love beat, much as you love depression. Thanks, Tommy. I think IPC more of a Law and Order type of faction. Well, IPC, I mean, they're a corporation. They're first and foremost a corporation. IPC is there for the capitalism bad theme. In the obligatory capitalism bad theme in every single story. I'll learn more about Dice Head. It's gonna be crazy when Acheron and Zephyr run into each. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like a entire patch. I think. Oh god, I hope they don't off-screen that. Acheron and Zephyr fighting. Of Nihility Trailblazer 1. I mean, it'll probably happen. I don't know how it would happen. Because, IX doesn't gaze upon anyone, but Nihility as a playable path, I expect that we will get it eventually. Because I think we're gonna get a Trailblazer for every playable path. That's an interesting name for a faction that believes in life having meaning. Let's see if I have any reason. I think it's because okay. So Doctors of Chaos are known for performing medical examination studies and treatments on self-annihilators. Doctors of Chaos combine demon god crafts of the occult monks to create the sealing wax of AF. Oh right, those are the curios from the Sim universe. Yeah, Okay, this is why. So Doctors of Chaos believes all that appears meaningless must have its own irrefutable purpose. So essentially they believe that there must be meaning even in pure chaos, even if it appears completely meaningless, purely chaotic, there is still some meaning in it. I think that's why they're called the Doctors of Chaos. Imagine if it's worse. Acheron and Zephyro meet and just walk. There's no way that would happen. There's no way that would happen. Like, they could at least have a conversation. Like if they meet and don't fight, I will accept it if they at least have a conversation. But we kind of already know, like, Acheron is investigating Zephyro from the Lord Ravager trailer. Those animations that on top of whatever Zephyro can pull off would be insane to watch. Yeah, I hope they do it justice. Oh, we saw with Acheron that I accidentally to get for you to gain. Yeah, so that is the one thing. But specifically with Trailblazer, the reason why Trailblazer specifically has gotten their power from each path has been associated with the Aeon's Gaze. Maybe they'll break that pattern for IX. I don't know though. I feel like I'm not gonna make a prediction. I feel like that's I feel like I don't know. Doctors of Chaos, we don't believe in coincidence. Basically, I think that's what it is. I think that's essentially what their thing is. Okay, I'm out of things to talk about again. Someone give me something. Someone say something. The Grey on Grey rings true for the Shanzhou. The Aprilanos is a good faction, but they seem to be brewing a major catastrophe behind it. Exactly. Like, again, like, there are good people in the Shanzhou, but there are also bad people in the Shanzhou. Like, factions, Hoyo believes in good people and good and evil people. They believe in, like, absence. And I think it's a very unique take on Grey on Grey, because they definitely believe in, like, moral goodness and moral evil, like on an individual level, they absolutely believe that. But their factions are, when people start working together, Polyoverse always demonstrates, like, factions are always about compromise. It's about tolerating each other. People are joined by common purpose and not common morality. I think that's how I would sum it up. Polyoverse believes that people are united by goals and not by shared morality, and therefore factions are always comprised of people with mixed moral standings. So definitely be a contender for breaking this up. Maybe Trailblazer will do something so amazing it will actually make IX look. Maybe, I don't know. That's all I got. I made to keep the pattern, but instead of gazing intentionally at the Trailblazer walking to IX's line of sight. I think IX is normally just looking at itself though. Like its default state, it doesn't even have eyes. If you look at its animations. Obviously the gazes of the Aeons is metaphorical, it's not literal. I know a lot of Grey on Grey in Western swords and what the flavor is everyone. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I think, like, Hoyoverse's take on it, I think, is very good. Like classic examples, like Warhammer 40k is the most famous, where, like, everyone is like a very dark shade of gray, and, like, the Imperium of Man is only like a tiny bit lighter a shade than everybody else. And, like, there's very few, like, genuinely good people in Warhammer. But, like, that's not how Hoyoverse does it. Hoyoverse actually does it, like, there's lots of good people. It's just that they're also working with evil people because their goals unite them. Definitely goals, especially when involving a step like Iron Tumor, good way to bring passions together. Yeah, so I think it's an interesting take on it. Don't think I like that moral, but I've never played. I probably can't comment. Well, I wouldn't call it a moral. I would just say that's their theme. It's how we like to write their lesson. And, like, I mean, you could say, I mean, it is like, it's built about, essentially like a pragmatist standpoint. Like, if you try to build a political alliance, that's obsessed with purity, like moral purity, you'll never achieve anything. That's just like reality. Like how Topaz has to work with Aventurine. Well, Aventurine isn't even... Aventurine is more of an example. Aventurine's actually like a morally good person. He hates the IPC. However, he is working with the IPC out of pragmatism. Aventurine actually hates his job. Topaz is more of a... So Topaz is more of... She's essentially been groomed. Topaz has essentially been groomed by Jade. She is like a true believer in the IPC and doesn't really like grasp how much harm she's doing. She genuinely believes that when she colonizes a planet, it's a good thing. Topaz is more like of a naive person who's been groomed by Jade. Jade is definitely like, out of the playable IPC characters, Jade is definitely like the evil one. Topaz and Aventurine and Alec siblings annoying each other. Because, I mean, they're both adopted by Jade. Essentially, they got their evil stepmom. They're the step siblings with their evil stepmom. And they bonded over their shared evil stepmom family. Topaz looked at the benefits of the IPC. He helped out her planet, but yeah, she's in Jade's foot. Where Scott calls to it. Scott's just an asshole. Scott's definitely evil. Scott is just like a narcissist. I mean, we had that whole scene where like we dive deep into Scott's psyche and we find out he does not have any tragic backstory. He does not have a Freudian excuse. He's just an asshole all the way. He's not a deep character. He's as shallow as a puddle. You step in him, all you find is ass. So ready for the Scott redemption arc at the bear. And I don't think we're getting a Scott redemption arc, Paul. I don't think... What's he gonna do? He's gonna heroically sacrifice himself to save the Trailblazer. That's his redemption. Scott's entire backstory was just no. Yeah, no. He's not even like evil. He's just an stupid asshole. Which is why he's funny. Which is why we love Scott. Okay. We got 10 more minutes. I might have stuff to talk about again. Someone say something. Dude backstab every single person that can. Yeah, exactly. Remind me, did the piece of Scott that was still good in the fake collab story no? Yes, cool. Yes, it did. That piece of Scott that was good was just faking. Okay? That was explicit. There is no piece of Scott that is good. That was a lie. That was a total bullshit from the beginning. Scott is just pure, undiluted evil. And like, obviously, we did not fall for it. At least I didn't fall for it. There was not literally a single piece of Scott that was... And I forget what exactly. I think he ended up like shooting himself or something. That piece of Scott. I don't remember exactly what happened. Yeah, none of us are buying that. I hope nobody was. If anyone is buying that good act, I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned you might be a little exploitable. Nine more minutes. People, please. Okay. I'm trying to think of something to talk about. I'm terrible at this. He almost pure in his ass. He is pure in his ass. There's nothing impure about him. Scott is going to ascend to be the Aeon of assholes. If there was a path of like being an asshole, being like a stupid asshole, Scott would be ascend to be the Aeon of that path. Maybe it wasn't exactly what I'm saying. Scott becomes the, I don't, what would you call that? Yeah, it was the path of assholery. But the only time Scott compliments him was when you go the route of giving him stomach problems, portraying him at halfway stage. Shoots more wicked than him. Yeah, the only thing Scott appreciates is someone being more evil than him. But Scott is like the one truly irredeemable. I wouldn't say that, Hatanashi. I think there's plenty of irredeemable characters in Star Rail. Well, thank you for following, Quinzall. Welcome aboard. I'm Audire Astra, starship vtuber. When your world reaches its end, I will carry you to fair skies. Why did my redeems not work? Do I not have... Do I not? Huh? Oh, the redeems are fine. Nah, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Oh, there we go. It was just slow. Okay. It was just slow. There we go. Okay, I got the, blum sound eventually. But yes, thank you for following, Gwen. I am Audire Astra, starship vtuber. When your world reaches its end, I will carry you to fair skies. Benefits and you got this. I still need to add some. I still need to add new hell bombs or hell pods. Scott reminds me of when Mr. Krabs sold SpongeBob's soul for 62 cents, but at least Mr. Krabs felt bad about it afterwards. I don't think Scott would feel bad about it. And let me think. Who's other irredeemable characters? I mean, Fantilia is pretty irredeemable. Like, the Heliobi in general are assholes, and then, like, Fantilia is a Heliobi that ascended into a Lord Ravager. She's, like, absolute assholery. I don't think there's anything else. I think Fantilia, there's probably nothing redeemable about her. Tail is the exception, yeah. Tail, I think Tail probably just got... Tail got, like, contaminated by Fulhua's pure, innocent goodness. Here's a topic. What fundamental aspects of the universe do you think each Aeon represents? Well, let's see. I'm gonna pull up the list of Aeons. Okay. So... Well, I'll say Akavili... Trailblaze, I think Trailblaze probably... Trailblaze has something to do with chaos and freedom. I think that is, like, the core concept of Trailblaze. It is about being able to defy fate. That's the core concept of Trailblaze. You know, the Order... I don't know. It's something... Like, Order is pretty self-explanatory. But in terms of, like, physical concepts, I don't know. Like, maybe Ina represents, like, the concept of physical laws themselves. Like, right, that's what Order represents. Remembrance is time. That's, like, or specifically, the past is the physical concept anchored by remembrance. That's the main thing. Elation, I don't know. I have no idea. Elation could also be like chaos, but like I think Trailblaze already covers that, so you think of Trailblaze and be a chaotic past and see. Well, I'm thinking them being chaotic is specifically Noose. Like in that segment that I just showed earlier, like Noose calls Trailblaze chaos. Because Noose cannot predict Trailblaze. The Trailblaze is like unpredictable for news, which is different from Elation. This is why I think Elation is not fundamentally chaotic, because Elation seems to be something that Noose can understand and predict, well, as Trailblaze is something that Noose can't. So maybe Elation would be like happiness or joy, but I don't think we understand enough about Elation yet, because, well, the next planet is the Elation planet. We're gonna learn a lot more about Elation soon. It's a equilibrium, I don't know, balance. Some kind of balance thing. Nihility, I think, is obvious. It's like death and oblivion. That one. Well, like specifically, like death and nothingness. Nothingness is the concept that is being anchored by nihility. That's the fundamental. So if nihility actually, there's a whole like lore bit about nihility which says essentially like half of the universe is like nothing. Oh, I forget what exactly it was. What the lore bit was. Okay, here it is. It's for the device IX description. Everything in the universe is bound by the prison of existence, constrained by their body and mind and blinded by the world's superficial appearance. Even the most intelligent beings cannot comprehend this. Matter, order, logic, and life. Everything that makes up reality is but one side of the coin. On the opposite side of equal entropy, there exists nihility. The two balance each other to create the complete universe. So yeah, IX, nihility seems to anchor the concept of non-existence itself. It's like it's the absence of being. It's like the absence of being anything else. Idrilla, well, beauty. Don't know anything about beauty. Land the hunt. I don't know what physical concept man would anchor other than like justice. Maybe the concept of purging. I don't know. Exterminatus. The permanence. This one's an interesting one. Permanence might be aging, as what Cole said earlier. It's really depends. Like, again, permanence is not something we don't. Again, it's not a path we understand very well. There's like one trailer which didn't really go into a lot, because there's a thing. So there's this thing called the revelation of permanence that is apparently like the great discovery that Long made. No, we don't know what the revelation of permanence is. So I think without that, it's hard to say anything. Enigmata is interesting. Because Enigmata, like before, we thought Enigmata was just about like, not knowing things. But then we find out like, because Evernight is Evernight's power is called Oblivion, and apparently its source is Enigmata. So Enigmata is apparently just has the power to erase information entirely. It's not just like confusing the past. It's like actually just outright like informational erasure. And like erasure of like, it's like a nihility but for concepts, which is like a lot more dangerous than we thought Enigmata was, which seems to be a recurring theme. Every time we discover something about a path, we discover like, oh, holy shit, this path, this Aeon is way more dangerous than we ever thought. Like before Penacony, most people basically thought like, oh, IX is pretty harmless. IX doesn't do anything. It just like hides in its corner of the universe and doesn't do anything. And then you find out, oh, actually no. Nihility is horrible. Nihility is horrible. And to see more enigmatic photos, Gallagher was an interesting choice. Yeah. And look, destruction, obviously, entropy, noose, erudition, sentience, intelligence, Ouroboros, veracity, dunno. Again, not one, a path we know a lot about. Cliff off, preservation, building walls, I don't know. We don't know what Cliffoff does besides build walls. That's all he ever does. Hazard of propagation and reproduction. Terminus finality. End of everything. Abundance, we talked about. Harmony. Harmony's interesting. I don't know what harmony would be in terms of like physical. Like maybe like a resin. They're heavily associated with music. For sure. I think harmony seems to have like some strong definitely has strong associations with music. You thought Ix, you think Ix is chill. They just hung out. He didn't bother no one. Then it turns out Ix actually bothers a lot of people. Even, I think joked about Cliffoff just being just obsessed with making walls. Yeah, that's all fucking Cliffoff does. The one time you know that Cliffoff took a break from making walls was when, during the Swarm Crisis, he took a break from swinging his hammer to make walls to swinging his hammer to hit Hazardous. And then he went right back to making walls. How many represents they could be similar to what order represented? So the path, I'm not sure the paths merged. Rather, the aeons merged. Or rather, Shipe assimilated Ina. The aeons merged. The path may still be there. I think. I actually think the path is still there. Cliffoff could be the concept out of bounds then? Like the concept of separation? Maybe. I think that's a little... I have a hard time reconciling that with the fact that he's preservation. Like Aeon, like Cliffoff, rather than preservation, Cliffoff seems to be all about fortification. That seems to be his thing. Cause like Bellabon, what the power of preservation did was, in Belagabog was like help keep the city warm and like fortifying an area. Anyways. Okay. Alright, I think that's all I got for today. I was able to get out a lot of my thoughts on Star Rail, which I'm happy about. I guess Friday we'll be back with Hollow Knight. So, thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you all again on Friday. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful night. Good night, everyone. Good night.